Well, I want to go over a couple things on the Parazapper versus the Bob Beck Blood Electrifier. First off, I also want to tell you about, I did find on eBay where they sell the wires for the pins that you can hook up to the TENS pad. So you can run TENS pads with your Parazapper, or you can run it with your Beck style zapper too. Actually, on eBay, what they call it is TENS pads wired pins, I think it is. I'll put that description down there in the information box, also in the comments. They also sell it, what they do is they sell it with a regular headphone type jack. So I had to split the wire and buy these type of banana plugs and plug it into the Parazapper. Very simple, right? So you got some banana plugs. And they also sell it where you can use 4 TENS pads, a pair on this side and a pair on that side. So you can have a pair for the positive offset and a pair for the ground. And in the case, well, you can have 4 contact points also for the Beck style zapper. Now, what I found with the Parazapper, from my experience only, okay, is that if I have a sore throat, this thing works like crazy. Now, the way I use it, though, is I put the positive offset side, whether it's, I haven't used the TENS pads, I usually use the cylinder or the copper paddle wrapped in a wet cloth or paper towel. I put that positive offset side on the sore throat, and I run 30,000 hertz range or 10,000 hertz, like a higher hertz, so I don't feel the frequency. And I'll sleep with that thing, you know, in that position. If it's on my throat, I'll put the positive offset side there and the ground someplace else on my body. And the sore throat's gone the next morning. That's been my experience. It's not like I hold the damn paddles in my hands, and it's actually I put the positive offset side on the side where the infection is. I found it worked with an infected tooth one time. That's my personal experience. So this thing works like crazy for, you know, getting localized infections. Maybe helps with overall stuff too. I don't know. Now, I've been testing this Bob Beck Blood Electrifier extensively. I've actually been into this longer than the Parazapper My Plus and a CC2 and their devices. I was using this some years before I even got into the Parazapper. The one thing I noticed about this is it does help produce energy. And I was thinking it possibly had to do with the 4 hertz or the 3.9 hertz, usually 3.9 to 4 hertz, regeneration and healing. But there's also something else going on there, and I mentioned this on other videos. The 4 hertz and actually lowered all the way down to 1 hertz causes a transfection in the cells, which can help the cells be more porous temporarily to bring in nutrients and oxygen, and that's what I think this does. But it's also voltage dependent. So I tried the Parazapper My Plus with the 4 hertz and the 3.9 hertz. It's difficult to say for sure, but I did not seem to get the same energy boost as with the Beck Blood Electrifier. Now, with knocking out microbes, this thing seems to work way better. When knocking out microbes, I know there's a quote on Bob Beck quoting Lyman and Cowley patent from 1990 and 91 and all this garbage, but I don't think that really has much to do with it. I really do think it has to do with the frequency. But if you're running like about 4 hertz, you're hitting a lot of things, because on the next, I'll call it, what is it, not the octave, it's like the wave. Like, in other words, on a square wave, it goes in the harmonics. The harmonics go in odd multipliers. So on 4 hertz, the next multiplier would be 12 hertz, and the next one would be 20. So actually, when you're running 4 hertz, you're hitting 20 hertz on the next, you know, on the 5th multiplier up, the odd multiplier up. So there's a long list. It's actually a couple pages of stuff that 20 hertz does. It's one of the common frequencies a lot of people use with these pad type machines, right? So that's probably another reason why the Beck thing works good even with one frequency. I found the Parazapper, to me, works a lot better on knocking out microbes, especially with the positive offset. But what I think is, you see this transfection where the blood is temporarily porous to bring in more oxygen and more nutrients. What's going on is, first on this you're running about 30 volts AC. On this you're running about 10 volts DC. But you're also running 10 volts from like 0 to 10. On this you're running 30 up, 30 down. Well, it's AC, so it's kind of like, it's not exactly DC. It's not working the same exact way, but the wave is bigger. So, much bigger. So, if you're going 0 to 10, it's figure that's 10, right? And you got, if you're going 30 down and 30 this way, it's like 60, right? So it's 6 times more fluctuation in the square wave. That is probably why this thing is actually causing a transfection effect, which is causing more oxygen to get into your blood cells and giving you more energy. It seems to work better. That's the one advantage of this. The other advantage is, I think, I know Bob Beck was a little bit of a liar, to put it in plain simple ways, because he said avoid garlic and at all costs, and he even said to avoid vitamins and herbs. So if this thing is actually causing super absorption of whatever you're taking in your body, stuff like vitamin C and even garlic, which he told you to avoid like the plague, I think it would have extreme medical benefits. I've been taking loads of vitamins with this thing ever since I started using it in, I don't know, 2010, September 2010. I've always taken loads of vitamins. I don't know what the problem is with it. There's no problem with taking loads of vitamins with the Parazapper ever. I mean, that's because Bob Beck was saying not to take loads of vitamins and herbs while you're zapping with his thing here. Now, I started taking vitamin C in very high doses, and then I stopped using this, and now I'm actually using this with the vitamin C in high doses. I'm actually using both these devices. Where this one has a major advantage is it seems to knock out all microbes. I mean, Beck claims that Bob Beck claimed that the Bob Beck blood electrifier knocked out all microbes. I don't see it. I didn't see great results if I ever had a sore throat, and I don't get a sore throat very often, so that's a problem. And I can't run around testing people and playing doctor and all this garbage. I can only give you my personal testimonies. But I have been working around with these devices for some years now. I do not see this as strong as knocking out microbes as the Parazapper. It's very weak compared to the Parazapper. Where the advantage is, oxygen uptake is increased, because I swear there's more energy, and also I think the nutritional side of things is absorbed better because of this transfection. And it does knock out a decent amount of microbes, because when this hits 20 hertz on the 5th octave or 5th multiplier, that second wave up, it's not the second multiplier, it's the second wave up. It's like, that's how it works with the harmonics. It works in odd harmonics with a square wave. So when you do 4 hertz or 3.9 hertz, 4 hertz, you'll hit 19.5 hertz and 20 hertz on a second wave up, which is the 5th multiplier. Now, the other thing is, I was theorizing, well, it's not to my theory, but it's like scientists have found that, with DNA testing and taking out DNA capabilities in mice where they can produce their own vitamin C, they found that an organism, any species, no matter what it is, that produces their own vitamin C, they live about 8 to 10 times their adult life. So when your maturity date, that is. So if their maturity date is 1 to 1.5 years, so you'll be 8 to 12.5 years, right? Is that right? Yeah, 8 to 12.5 years longevity. If you take out that vitamin C capability, it's 3 to 4 times. So if the species is 1 to 1.5 years maturity days around when they get to maturity, then it will be 3 to 4 years versus 8 to 12. Now with a human, your maturity date is roughly, I don't know, 20 to 24 years. So 3 to 4 times is 60 to 88, or maybe 20 to 25 years. Some people get to over 100. Now, if you had vitamin C capability producing in your body where it's actually produced in your body, because when you take it orally, it really doesn't get inside your cells. That's one of the major problems of it. It's not actually synthesized and absorbed into your cells. If it really was getting inside your cells and it was actually produced in your body, your maturity date for human, the adult maturity date when a person matures is like 20 to 25. It would go to 8 to 10 times. It would be on average human life would be 160 to 250. That would be average, which is probably, I know some people say, oh, the Bible's not accurate. Well, I think it's dead on accurate, and I'm not even religious, okay? I'm not formally religious. I just think that the Bible's dead on accurate. But I think it's an historical account. I'm not a religious kook or Bible thumper. I just think it's an accurate historical account. This could be why some of these ages were achieved back then. Not just we have all 4 genes to produce all the vitamin C we need in our bodies, but one of them is dormant. Except in a few people, they got a little bit of capability. But if we had all 4 genes running on really strong, like all 4 cylinders, and we produce copious amounts of vitamin C in our body, we'd be living to be, a couple hundred years or more on average. Now, if you add in the atmosphere being more oxygen rich and all that type of stuff, these things probably were dead on accurate, because it was a much more accurate, oxygen rich environment back in the time when these ages were recorded. So, my conclusion is, if you're actually, it'd probably be cool if Parazapper comes out with something that has this, with maybe a single battery and whatever, or it's incorporated in here with a switch or something, because to tell you the truth, I find these zappers to be better than anything because they're small, portable, convenient, and they run on 9-volt batteries, and I use the Tenergy low self-discharge batteries that could be recharged like a gazillion times with the Bedini charger. So basically once you buy it, it's like there's no investment after that. They just run. The only thing I wind up buying is these TENS pads once in a while, which they last a long time. You can reuse them a gazillion times. But I find there's uses for both these devices. That's the thing. And I find that I found that Bob Beck he's throwing out some good stuff, and he's throwing out some garbage. Like garlic is bad, yeah, right. Do not freaking garlic is one of your best medicines going, man. And actually, like I said, ever since I've been using this since September of 2010, really have a lot more experience with this Bob Beck Electrifier than the Parazapper. I've been taking herbs and vitamins up to yin yang all the time when I've been zapping like this thing for hours and hours and hours. Now, I also want to say this: when you start this out, you want to start out doing like 20 minutes a day. This, I'm not sure if you really have a problem with this one starting out doing it a couple hours or more. It seems to be only the Beck one. Now, I got pretty much, since I've been using these zappers a lot, I could run this thing like 16 hours a day, and I have no side effects from it, from toxins, from knocked out microbes, because they're probably all knocked out. I've been running both these devices. And now that I found the pins, they're on eBay. The only thing I had to do, like with the Beck thing, all you got to do, it actually comes with you. If you order the one with the headphone jack, it just plugs right in here, because that's how the Beck style zapper is. With this one, the only thing you got to do is order these little banana plugs, and you got a little screw there, and you strip the wire, and then you just put the bare wire into the screw. And I put some Gorilla Tape in there so you don't pull it out. It'll make it a little stronger on the end, right? That's it. I mean, once you make it, that's done. And here's these are the pins, right? See? They're right on eBay. You can get the ones that have one pair or two pairs. So you can run 2 pads for positive offset and 2 pads for ground, or you can run, 2 pairs with the Beck style thing. Now, I personally, I have not tested this with cancer or nothing because I don't have cancer. But if I had cancer tumor or something, what I would do is I would take the positive offset side of this and I'd put it right over where the tumor was, and then put this ground side someplace else on my body. Just run the damn thing all the time and leave it on there. I mean, what's it gonna? It's gonna hurt? No, it's. I don't think it. To me, it's gonna work. Everything I checked it for with this Parazapper, when I checked it when I had a sore throat, a couple times, not too many times, a few times maybe. When I put I used a copper paddle. I didn't really use these. These are, to tell you the truth, these are not as. There's not as much electricity coming through these TENS pads as the paddles. That might be a disadvantage. I just found this pin set up on eBay, and I said, well, that's cool, because it makes it easy if you want to like wear this like 24 hours a day practically. You can just wear it. You can set one up. You can set one up on your arm like this, I don't know, and then one on your other arm or something. You can stick this in your pocket and you walk around with it. It's like you wouldn't even know it's there, right? It's like you don't have to hold any paddles. But not as much electricity comes through these, but some does. You could tell it does. But if I had, and I know that when I was using it for a sore throat, this thing worked like crazy. I tried this for a sore throat, didn't work like crazy. Oh yeah, by the way, this little flag thing, I put that on there. See, it's made in the USA in the South. This one's not made in the USA, but it's got a rebel flag on it because this is Rebel Health. Okay, it's Rebel Health. So, and so the point is, like, different tools for different things, and I think they both have uses on, and it's like I'm very hesitant to say that the 4 hertz and the 3.9 hertz, and I'm not sure about the 1 hertz because I didn't test that enough. But it does not seem like the 4 hertz and the 3.9 hertz on a Parazapper gives me the energy boost like this does. And I think it's because it's a factor of electricity. And it's not just the hertz, it's hertz and how much current you got going through there. This is showing 30 volts AC. It's going 30 this way, 30 that way. This is going 10 up and 0. But the positive offset is supercharging your immune system, according to Hulda Clark. Okay, according to Hulda Clark, that's her words. I don't know if I can verify that, but she says, she had blood tests, so I think she was legit. She did a lot of blood tests on people. She says it supercharges your immune system and knocks out every microbe. And from what I could tell, from whatever, I had a sore throat a few times and an infected tooth over the years I had this thing seemed to knock it out really good. But this thing seems to give you more energy. So I don't know what the hell's going on exactly. Okay, it's like a testimony, but I have a theory why that is. And I'm also saying that, when Bob Beck was telling you about this blood electrifier, don't take vitamins, don't take herbs. What is he talking about? I mean, maybe you don't want to smoke cigarettes and drink beer and alcohol and do bad drugs because that'll be multiplied, but the good stuff, why would you not want to do the good stuff and have that multiplied? And he was saying, avoid the heck out of garlic. Well, my opinion on Bob Beck was that, he was a guy that, even though he didn't directly work for the government, he was a independent contractor working for the military-industrial complex his entire life. He did actually work for the state of California for a while, I think, or as an independent contractor for them, and also the Defense Department, Lockheed Martin. So he was all in a loop, you know what I mean? So you got to kind of watch guys like that, you know what I mean? Sometimes they're telling you they're a truther, then maybe they're not a truther, and blah, blah, blah. And with Hulda Clark, I remember she's got blood tests on everything. So I know that the Clark's type device is based upon the Clark technology. Plus, it's got way more frequencies and way more stabilized. The frequencies are more accurate with this. This is very dead on accurate. That's another thing. But, you know, I can only say so much. It's Rebel Health, man. What can I tell you, right? But I want to give you an update. It seems that, probably the only way to really get that effect with the energy is to use the Beck style zapper. So maybe, Parazapper might want to come out with a Beck style zapper too to add to the line. And in my opinion, the Beck style zapper doesn't knock out anywhere near as many microbes. But I think it's going to help with your oxygen uptake, your energy levels, and your nutrient uptake, which is especially important with the vitamin C. Because if you're taking a lot of vitamin C and you're getting it absorbed into the body, into the cells directly a lot more, in my mind, theoretically, it should boost your longevity. If you're taking vitamin C orally, it's not going to do that. It's got to be absorbed into the cells. That's why if you have the capability in your body to produce your own vitamin C itself, you probably will live 200 years plus. Nobody's got that capability. There's a few people that have a slight capability because they're immune to scurvy, but they don't really have that full capability, as was probably theorized in the past. So anyway, clear as mud. But I've been, onward and forward and see what the hell happens here. So anyway, just another type of video. I mean, I know I got my channel, I got so many different types of videos that I can't really label my channel as being this type of channel. It's a channel of everything. But I got a strong interest in this stuff, and I was a little bit pissed off at Bob Beck when he was saying garlic, to avoid garlic, and he said it would kill all your brain cells or something. And you look up the typical things about garlic. It's good for cognitive brain function and memory. Like I said, I think the guy was a little bit too connected with the government. You know what I mean? So he's kind of throwing you out some gems, and I'm kind of working through what part of what he said is correct, and maybe what you can add to that where it can be increased. I'm not sure if a higher voltage positive offset at 4 hertz would be the thing that would cause the transfection process and stronger. It's difficult for me to judge that. I could be flat out wrong when I'm saying I don't think the Parazapper at 3.9 hertz and 4 hertz is doing the same energy boost as the Bob Beck Electrifier. I could be wrong when I'm saying that, because I'm one person, okay? But I've been trying to determine and be fair as possible. It does not seem to be that way. So that's one advantage of this thing. That's why I think Parazapper probably ought to come out with a Beck style zapper, or maybe have a switch in this thing so you can run Beck style on a, I don't know. I don't design these things, man. It's like, it sounds like a great idea until you try to freaking make it, It's like, I drew it and make it out of metal, anyway. So, but each one has its advantages. Each one has its advantages. And you can make things to make them better. Like, I think the TENS pads with this makes this easy to use all day. Same with the Beck style thing. With the TENS pads, Beck style blood electrifier with the TENS badge, you can wear it all day, or most of the day, very easily. It kind of cuts down how much electricity. With the Beck style, I don't know if it's, well, it seems to be doing the same thing. You see the little red light? It's right there in the middle, right? It seems to be doing it. It seems to be this. It seems to work pretty good even with this too. But then to really make this where the tens pads would work with this. They do sell, and I do have them, two pairs. You can have two pairs of pins, so you can have two tens pads that are positive offset and two tens pads that are ground. Then you probably will be getting very close to what the paddles are. I actually didn't make that one yet, but you know, it would be double what this is, so it probably would be. This actually, I can still feel the electricity going through it when I'm wearing it. So, but that makes it extremely easy to use the devices. Anyway, over and out. And I like these devices better in a lot of ways because they're so simple, they're portable, and you know, a spooky remote might be very good, but because you're not, but it's slow. This is faster. This is more powerful. Now, if you can run something on contact like a dozen hours a day in convenience, and it's not interfering with your daily activities, I think that's going to be a lot more powerful than the remote. And also, like when you're running spooky plasma, which is great, right? Maybe you don't really know what frequency to use. You got to be near that machine. These things, they're portable. That's the advantage of them. That's why I like these zappers. They're really great.